Hello, hi everyone. Good evening. This is Riri Trivedi on my live. I don't know if it's not moving. So am I live? Can you just check? Okay, here. Yeah, okay. Vagabond Diaries has joined, so I presume I'm live. Welcome everybody today to Somvar ki Gupshup instead of Guruvar because the guest I have today was only available today. So welcome all of you to this wonderful talk that I'm going to have today with Niyatii. And I have specially scheduled this because I have got many questions from young parents about their small kids and how to talk or touch upon this whole conversation of sexuality, sexual orientation, and all of that. So I thought, why not ask the expert, because I am not the expert in this area. So we will have Niyatii with us live now. I just have one request. While I will be talking to her first, asking her questions, eventually I will also take the questions from all of you, which she will answer. But please ask your question with the gender and the age of the child mentioned up front. Because if you do not mention the age and the gender, it will be very difficult for Niyatii to actually give an appropriate answer, because depending on the age group, the answers will be very different. So let me first, Rima Gandecha says, I love your reels. Thank you so much, Ria, for that. Now let me invite Niyatii on this live right now. Where is she? Here we go. Niyatii is a sex educator and an intimacy coach, but what you do not know is that I know Niyatii for a long time now because, oh, there she is. So Niyatii, I was just telling, welcome to this Somvar ki Gupshup, not Guruvar ki, which I usually do. And I was just telling my followers, I said what you, of course, Niyatii is a sex educator, internship, intimacy coach. But what I was going to say is they don't know is that we know each other much before Instagram happened. So
Yes,
Niyati's husband and my husband go way back in their college days or in Michigan State, where I think it is about 30 years back, no, 25, 30
almost.
years back,
Yeah.
almost. And they studied together. So that's how I know Niyatii, and Niyatii knows me. And well, now, interestingly, we connect on this platform to discuss and talk about our areas of expertise. So warm welcome to you, Niyatii. Wonderful to have you on my platform. So many of my followers are very excited and waiting. They've already started putting the questions. Please put the questions in the question mark icon where there is a question mark sign. Please put your questions there so I can see them all one by one. Before much ado, let's begin. Niyatii, would you please like to tell us something about yourself and your journey as a, in this field? Because I know that you studied something completely different like I have, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
neither
So,
one of us are psychologists per se. So
yes. So very interestingly, first, thank you, Riri. It was a very long pending talk that we had on this
yes.
passion that we share about parents and children and mental health to begin with. Mental health has a lot of aspects, and I've picked up one out of that, wherein sex education can be physiological, emotional, social, as well as mental and intellectual. So thank you so much for bringing me up here. I think just things just have to happen when they have to happen. And I'm just glad that I'm here with you. So one, you're doing a brilliant job, which everybody's already speaking about. So love your work. And I know what kind of a
Thank you.
person you are. So there was no doubt that you would not excel in what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so
Having,
much.
of course. So having said that, yes, neither of us come from the background of either medicine or psychology, but I think we come from the background of being very passionate parents and successful to some extent. Yeah, and we know that when we are putting our heart into something, we have made sure that we have not only the knowledge, but also the skills that are required to be on this stage. So again, very
Absolutely.
happy to be with you here. And a little bit about me very
Wonderful.
quickly. I am a commerce student when it came to the degree part of it, which was more to do with my dad's decision than mine. And those were the years and those were the days. Having said that, I think I did have a couple of other interest in my work. Having said that, I did try my luck in travel and tourism and having India's first online toy library for children. But I think finally I settled here because this is where my calling was and this is where I felt most comfortable with. I did my sex education with two very prominent doctors in Mumbai. They both are sexologists. One is Dr. Rajan Bhosle, who gave me my first certificate as a trained sex educator. And then Dr. Vatsa, who we lost last year, but he is the epitome of sex education. He started that almost 45 years back, and he kind of mentored me for a long time, for almost 5 years, where he told me what they did and how the times have changed. And I did all the other modalities that we can talk about, whether it's metaphor therapy, graphology, learning tidbits of a lot of things, NLP. So made sure that I am able to serve my clients in the way they understand better, in the way sometimes a simple counseling may not work. So I have kind of made sure that I've learned a lot of skills around talking about sex education. Now that also means public speaking and learning about
Yes,
sales
of
and learning
course.
about making reels. So yeah, that is
Haven't we all come a long way? Like we are not the Insta generation, right?
we
We
were
are the
not, we were
late
not.
adopters. I mean, I was told by my kids कि अभी आ जाओ भाई Facebook छोड़ो Instagram पे आ जाओ. This is where the action
Absolutely.
is, and I had to learn, and I observed for almost 6 months all the
Yes.
peoples who were like trending, and I was like, so I think we are both,
Yes.
and then we both also have spent time in Mumbai. While you are Pakka Mumbaikar for sure, but I have spent a good 10 years of my growing up years in
Yes.
Mumbai, coming of age years.
Yes.
So we share that in common. Yes. So tell us, how did you start off your journey as I mean, of course, you said who were your teachers, but what got you into this field is one question. The first one.
So, so very interestingly, when I got pregnant with my older one, who's now 18, and, when I was pregnant, I was reading that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. And I think that every time that one thought came very frequently was, I want to be that parent who is there for her child. I want to be that parent who is able to answer the child when they come with questions. I didn't want to be this clueless parent like, mujhe nahi pata, I don't know, go. That time Google was not so prominent, but go ask somebody else, or you're too young to ask me anything. And I was brought up in a very liberal family where we were allowed to question. Whether they knew or not was another thing. So that was something I was very passionate about. But then while by the time Ishan was 6 years of age, I didn't know anything about sex education. I never taught him anything related to that. Whatever best I could do, I did. That's where Dr. Rajan Bhosle came at school and he spoke about sex education. And I was like, what? How could I miss out on something so important? Because one, I was also kind of inappropriately touched when I was a younger kid. And it continued for a longer time till almost I was what? I was about 24. That was the last time I was inappropriately touched. So different areas, different scenarios, different people, different age. So that's where I knew that this is not something that happens only to children or only adults or only women. And when I got to understand the topic, I was asking myself, how did you not talk about something like this to your son? And that's where it got me to reach out to Dr. Rajan Bhosle and say that, hey, listen, I would want to do a course. And he said, we have one. I said, nothing doing, I'm doing this course. And that's where my journey began. And slow and steady, being these enthu mothers that we are, I started talking to other parents and, family and friends. And did you know, did you know, did you know? And they said, you know what, we don't want to know. Why don't you talk to our children?
I
That's
know
where it all,
that's something that most moms would want कि भाई outsource कर दो यार हम तो बात ही नहीं कर
ha.
सकते इसके बारे में ना.
But that gave me an
Oh,
opportunity to learn how to talk to children. And that's where my career kind of started rolling. Till then, I had no intention of taking it up as a career. It was just for me. And I was pregnant with my second kid. So it was all for me and my children. But then I realized the bigger need. And I said, okay, it looks like I'm pretty comfortable. I don't feel the
so didn't that
hesitation.
how did people around you take it? Because this is not a very popular or a very like common profession. Like even okay, if I'm a therapist, also hypnotherapist, there is still an element of curiosity, and फिर भी लोग कर लेते
Yeah.
हैं. But your
Yeah.
field is very unique. Like not many people are. So how did people around you react and take to it? Because even talking about sex is such a taboo in our society
Yeah.
still, surprisingly.
So
So.
I think, fortunately, I didn't start with the topic of sex. I started with the topic of sexual abuse, which was a very touchy topic to begin
Yes,
with. So,
yes.
since I came from that background and the understanding, that is what I took up. And at this, within a year or a year and a half, one of the schools in Mumbai, one of the cases that came out in the open became very big. And that's where more and more parents started understanding that something like this is happening in schools. And there is somebody who, and I had already started looking at Facebook, how to kind of market myself, how to keep talking. And whoever already knew me, it became multifolds of like four workshops each. So earlier it would be one parent, one another group, another parent, another group. But then it rolled for a couple of years because then it was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
only
yeah.
about
Absolutely.
what I need to know as a parent. It was then about how do I teach my child about this? What is the right age to teach? What are the right words to say? Then mothers and fathers started realizing that this is not just about don't let anybody touch you. It's way deeper.
Way
And that's
deeper.
how I
Correct.
think. So then there was an
Deeper.
element of emotion. There was an element of fear, which they kind of came to me with. So that topic rolled on for a long, long time. But then I graduated to other topics. I was already learning, researching. I've put in a lot of hours into this topic.
I'm sure when we are passionate, we do that, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
that
yes,
till we eat, sleep, walk, talk, dream about our work, right? Okay, so
absolutely.
what I had thought was, I had, of course, I had put down a whole bunch of questions I'm going to ask you, and I had put them in a nice order. But since people are already asking questions that are, coming from our conversations, I would straight away jump to what Rajat Modi is asking, which is our child is 7 years old boy. Any suggestions on how to deal with sex education in such small kids? And the more importantly, is it even required at age 7 to
Yeah,
talk
very
about sex
interesting. And
education?
I'm
So,
very thankful for asking this question. One, sex education is not about sex. It's actually about sexuality. So sex is a very small part about the sexuality. So when we talk about sex also, so it is as simple as did you teach your 7-year-old how to eat with the spoon, with the fork, how to clean your hands, how to clean the mouth, how to chew properly so that it gets digested? Because eating is a very intuitive action, right? You don't need to teach about these things. But we teach. We teach from the angle of hygiene. We teach from the angle of responsibility, what needs to be done the right way. So similarly, sex has a lot of other topics that we need to understand. And that is what sex education is all about, whether it's our likes, our dislikes, what we are comfortable, why we are not comfortable. We are already married, but why can't we consummate our marriage? Or I'm dating, but my partner is asking to be physically, intimate, but I don't want to. What is wrong with me? So there are a lot of things that as adults we go through, but all that
but
learning
for a
starts
small.
from the childhood. So how
Right.
to,
So
no,
at
for
7 and 6,
example,
like at 7 and 6,
yeah,
like what kind of sexuality are we talking about, sex education?
yeah.
If you could just.
So just like our emotional and mental development, there is something called sexual development also. So now, for example, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old understand their gender because of how the society has been talking to them, like a girl or like a boy. So that also comes into sex education. So if you are
Correct.
a parent who can say that, yes, you are born as a girl, but you can be whoever you want to be. Don't put them into gender roles like if you're a girl, wear only pink and sparkles. If you're a boy, play only with cars and, tools maybe. So give them the openness, give them the entire platform to be whoever they want to be. So that is sex education. Then you can start teaching them about their body parts. So just as we speak to them about how important it is to keep our hands clean, teach them how to clean their genitals when they are taking a shower. Because by 7, 8 years, they start taking showers by themselves. So only if
Right.
you've taught them earlier, see, the girls need to know, how to gently open her vulva and clean her vulva from inside. The boys need to know how to pull the foreskin and clean the head of the penis because those are dangerous spots, right? You can get infected, you can have rashes. So these kind of things starts from the early age. You can also start talking to them about what is a safe touch, what is an unsafe touch, who you should allow, who you should not allow. And it is not only about touch. If somebody shows their body to you, it's not okay. If somebody takes your pictures when you are changing or you're naked and you're not okay with it, how to say no. So there are a lot of things that you can still talk at 6 and 7, because this is the age group. Usually abusers are looking for children who are either not believed,
pedophiles are looking for this.
and they are looking for
And people,
children.
we parents don't even realize कि मतलब are they making up stories? Are they actually speaking the
Yes,
truth? How much is the difference
yes,
between real and imaginary? So this is a very
yes,
vulnerable age, and that I think
yes,
predators, sexual predators are most attracted to this age because it's
yeah,
safe, because they don't know
yes,
much, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So of course, another element is also like I had one question which really I could not answer, which is why I remember it so well, that I have like a 6, 7 year old boy, and he keeps touching his private parts in a group. He keeps playing with his private parts in a group in a party, and the parents are like so embarrassed. Like, what do we tell him? How do we stop him from doing that?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
couldn't answer this question. I said that's what gave me an idea to ask you. Okay, how do you like? How do you teach them these things? Because this is very instinctual, I believe, right? Like we see
Yes.
animals doing that all the time, but as humans, we have to train our kids to not be
Yeah, yeah.
like
So I think
animals.
it
So,
is very important to understand how to talk to children only to begin with in general. So always take examples and references they can relate to. So for example, the question that you've asked me, do not hit on their hands, do not scold them, because this is something that they've discovered about their body. And it is a very healthy thing that they've discovered, and they're okay touching themselves. If you now actually see, most of us are very scared even touching ourselves. So how are we even going to know what our partners should do? And anyway, so not going that
yeah.
line right now. But children
Yeah.
are supposed to touch themselves and discover their body just as they're touching everything around them. So when they've discovered that playing with their penis is so much fun, because at the end of the day, even if they are not sexual, at 7, 8, we do not see them as sexually active
It's just
people.
fun. It's a good sensation. They just discover that कुछ
Yes,
अच्छा लग रहा है इसमें, कुछ मजा आ रहा है,
because
something like that.
because the head of the penis has almost 8,000 nerves approximately. So that is where the pleasure is. So if they have figured that, so they are going to play with it. So now that you know that it is something very natural, it happens. And honestly speaking, men don't leave that habit till forever. They are still doing it in their own in their own sweet time
Absolutely.
and place,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
okay. And I think it is brilliant in a way that you are able to touch yourself and able to feel all that. But as children, as you tell them, would you pass urine in public, or would you change your clothes in public? No, right? So there are certain actions or certain things that we do not do in public. We go to private places like your room, like your washroom, or any other washroom, and we do it without anybody around us. So that is something you have to teach the child. So even when you're potty training a child, you don't expect the child to know everything within 2, 3 times and
You
become a
have to
potty trained.
reinforce, and you have to
Yes,
gently bring it to their awareness. Now, concern
yes,
that parents would also have is, does this mean I'm encouraging him or her to do this even though it's in a private space? Because a lot of parents are not even comfortable with this. And the reason I know this is because when I do my inner child therapy with adults, okay, as adults, they come with traumas that they went through as that 5 year old, who was caught
yes,
masturbating or who was caught playing with a
yes,
private part, and the parents really shamed and humiliated and, made them
yes,
feel like they've committed the biggest crime. And that trauma somehow now makes them so blocked that even at 30 and
yes.
40, they have a problem. So that's how I know. But
Correct.
a question to you is, parents also have this concern कि अगर भैया मैंने ये सब चीजों को encourage किया, अगर मैंने बोला कि नहीं आप अकेले बाथरूम में जाके करो, तो is that going to make them like totally addicted to it, or does that mean I'm encouraging this behavior? This is a very, I'm sure you would have got this question though.
Yeah. So so three things really. One, the reason not to traumatize the child you have given. As a therapist, as a hypnotherapist, you have already established the fact that people have this problem just because they were shamed in their childhood. So first, do not shame it. It's okay to touch your body. Second, are you encouraging? No. Encourage means, oh, you've still not gone? Go, do your job. That's not what you're doing. You're teaching them in case you want to do it, this is how you do it. But if you see your child repeatedly doing it or getting habituated to it, you have to intervene and figure out what's going on. So because touching your genital, one is intuitive, one is normal, it's okay, that's true. But there can be an angle where has somebody taught him to do that? Is somebody abusing your child? So it is important to know the difference between a normal act and something that you should intervene. So if you see it as a habit, if you see it happening repeatedly and more often, then you have to intervene to find out what's going on. So one, you're not encouraging. Two, you're actually teaching them it's all right to touch your body. There is encouragement only comes when you're actually making them do it, but you're not doing that. You're only teaching them how to do it. So which is fair enough. And again, children are not sexual, so you don't have to fear masturbation or anything. And even if you want to give it a mild masturbation name, it's not wrong to begin with. It's only wrong when it becomes a habit. So understand the difference and take it up from there.
Cool. So somebody's asked, and this you can answer in one line. She's saying, at what age, Meghna is saying, at what age should we start teaching about bad touch and good touch? So what is a good age to have that conversation?
So it's not a one-line answer, Riri.
Okay.
Yeah, so good touch, bad touch is used only for children at younger age, but the same lesson even goes up to teens. Because that is again a time when they are okay with a lot of people touching them. And sometimes they want it. So good touch, bad touch starts from the age of almost 4, 5, where the child kind of understands the body, the instructions that you're giving them, all the way till they are mature, or you are confident in them that now my daughter or my son knows, and she or he knows if somebody does come to do something to them, they know how to take care of them. So this, and it keeps changing. So it doesn't mean that if you've told your child at 5 years, now you don't have to talk to them. You have to again repeat questioning them that, do you know what you will do in case if something happens? So your children might start going to tuitions at a certain age. They go for night outs at certain age. They start partying at certain age. And at every age, there is a different situation with the same safe and unsafe touch, the bigger topic. So continue teaching your children.
You need to reinforce gently without making a big fear about it, or without connecting it to fear or shame. Because I have seen many girls who are blocked sexually because they parents, with all due respect, being very possessive or very fearful, have induced the fear in the child that if somebody touches you, you'll get pregnant, or you'll be miserable, or you'll be cursed. People do this, but then it affects the children so badly as adults. Also, though they logically know, okay, this is not right, but already the program is set. Yeah, so I agree. Wonderful. Prashasti born dancer says, what to do if I found a 10-year-old kid watching porn or something related with kissing scenes or nude videos? What should we do? How should we handle such a situation? Because today, internet is, I know so many parents who are so petrified of the child holding somebody's phone, dadi's phone, nani's phone, or having an iPad. They think, कुछ क्या देख लेंगे, क्या देख लेंगे, क्या देख लेंगे. So अगर ऐसा कुछ देख लिया, how do you handle it?
So one, if you know for sure that they have seen it, have a chat with them, not about the action that has already happened. So yes, you need to know what they saw, but that has to come from a space of a context. If you're straight away going to question them, they're going to get scared. They might start lying to you. They'll blame it on somebody. They will not come up and talk to you exactly what it is. So if you have seen something like this, what you can do is create a context if you don't have a context, meaning create a situation or a talk or give some reference to begin the conversation, which is not about you and the child. For example, you can say, somebody was talking in the school's group. I had gone here and they were talking about children watching these kind of videos. You know what? I would also want to talk to you about this thing in case if sometimes it comes across, or you use somebody shows it to you. I want to tell you what it is and why we should watch it or not watch it. So have some context created, make it about a third person, and talk to your child. At 10 and 11, most of the children are watching pornography by the age of 10, which is a very bad situation. Yes,
Oh my God,
yes.
I didn't know this.
Yes, I just had one session, both the sessions that I had today, one was about touching their genitals and second was watching pornography. So this was a birthday party for a 13-year-old, and the party was going on. There are a bunch of kids sitting at the corner and watching, all the nude pictures and everything, and they were seen. So what I want to say is, we have given them the devices. We are not making sure that the parental controls are in place. We are not taking care where our children are taking the mobile phones and how much their usage is. Somewhere as parents, we are giving in, saying what to do. Today's generation is like this only. If we don't give, then this happens. You cannot come up with excuses. Your children are being damaged to a level you can't even fathom. You can't even think what is going to happen in 2-3 years from here. Then these children are not in your control. They know a lot that you don't. So it's very important that you sit down and talk to them about these topics. Make it about a third person. But before that, Riri, what I also want to request these parents is, do not talk from what you knew about 30 years back. And get educated about it today. What are other children doing? What is the right way of talking to them? How can
Right.
why
See,
pornography is not okay?
my biggest concern is because I've also been a parent, is that, when parents hear some of these things, they go to the other extreme where they say, now no
Yeah,
mobile phones till you're 18. Now the problem is
exactly.
everybody has a mobile phone. So now there is a peer pressure. So now the child is going to start lying, hiding, going to the friend's home because the friend has a mobile, or making friends with those kids because they have that mobile which they are denied. So I would also
Yes.
point out that, I think as parents, we have to stay with the times and yes, do our due diligence, which means, like you said, make sure that, the checks are in place, that, in the browsers, they have the child protection thing on.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
because denying them and not exposing them is also doing them great injustice, because either they will be completely out of sync with their peers, or they will
Yeah.
be, doing other things to get there. So, what do you say about that?
True. So I think you've already said it. You are the parent and you have to behave like one. You cannot be the friend that they don't
Friend.
want.
Oh, absolutely. That was one of my reels.
I
I got trolled badly for it. And then people kept trolling me saying, how can you say this in this time and age, ma'am? You have become Buddha. I said, no, you
yeah.
can't be a friend. You have to be a parent. They need a parent. They have enough friends.
Yeah,
Be
they
a
have
friendly parent.
they
Be a friendly parent,
exactly,
right?
exactly. So that also has a direction. What is a friendly parent? A friendly parent, see, a friend is somebody who will say, oh, you're watching pornography, show me, show me, show me. That's not what you are going to do, right? So you're not a friend. Very, very simply put, and your children also don't see you as friends. They want a parent. They need a parent. So be that parent. So again, educate yourself to begin with. Know what is happening in the scenario outside, what other children are watching, what are the parents doing. But before that, understand, why are you saying no to your child? So when you say you should not do it, it is not good, you're very vaguely talking to the child. You have not given any answers. So tell them why it is not good. But for that, you need to know first. Why is pornography not good? What is it going to do to your child? What are the harmful effects it's going to have on the child, even not now, even later in the future? So it is very important that we understand exactly, we have clarity of what we want to talk to our child. It is not good. Do you think all these naked pictures are nice? You have no idea how the youngsters are dressing in today's times. So if you're going to say naked is not good, they are going to think you are outdated and you should not talk to these parents
Arey,
only.
Ranveer Singh has just made millions
Perfect.
posing a naked picture, right? I mean, that's all over the place. So a kid
And
who wants to become famous is going to actually start saying, Arey, yaar, let me do this, right? I mean,
exactly.
Ranveer Singh has done it.
Exactly. And he was appreciated for it. He was told what guts he has and he's done a brilliant job and all of that has happened. So very, very important point that you have brought out here, Riri, is your children are exposed to sexual content 100 times more than what you think they are. So whether it's the billboards, whether it's the newspapers, whether it's the in between ads of the games they play, or in the games that they are playing, or the cartoons they are watching, or the movies they are seeing, how many examples do I give you? There's sexual
Yeah,
content.
true,
So if you do not
true.
learn to guide your children that it's great to be a sexually positive person, but you should know how and when to take it forward in your life. That's
Correct,
where we
very
are
true.
lacking. That's where we are lacking.
I think parents need a lot more. I mean, poor parents. I'm also a parent. Yeah, how much do we learn? How much do we educate ourselves? It's quite overwhelming sometimes. But
It
anyway,
is.
yeah. So Bhumi is asking a very good question. 5-year-olds are trying to play game of touching private parts game, and in spite of explaining to them it's not right, how do you handle the situation? Like we know that at this age they are very curious, right? So
Yeah.
they are exploring and they are saying, "Acha, you have
Yeah.
that, I have this," and something like that. So how do you handle this?
Yeah. So, see, we've just become more aware about these things. This has always been happening to a certain extent.
Hmm.
We've all lived in
Hmm.
communities and it's been going on for a while. But having said that, if it is happening at home, because at school, it is the school's responsibility to look into it. If it's happening at homes or, other places where you kind of know about it, one, ask them, what do you want to know? Let me explain it to you. So, this is one of the things that I keep telling parents. The more education you give them, the more empowered they are going to be. They are not going to be more curious to try it out because you're talking about consequences also when you're educating them. So when you're telling them that a boy has a penis but a girl has a vulva, you show them the illustrations. You don't have to show them real human pictures or any naked body. You can show them illustrations and teach them how different penises are there, how different vulvas are there. Yes, there may come a question, why do we have two different things? Again, that age appropriately, you can answer that this is how we come to know who's a girl, who's a boy. This is the only way we actually come to know who's a girl and who's a boy when a child is born, right? Child doesn't have long hair, they don't put lipstick on, they
Yeah,
don't have any
correct.
of those features. So that is the only way
Yeah.
we know. So depending on the age of the child, if your child is anywhere above 9 years, please explain sexual intercourse to them, explain reproduction to them. That is how they understand that, oh, this is what it is used for, oh, this is what it is. And then tell them. But if you do this, the consequence, a couple of consequences. One is the infections, the sexually transmitted diseases, and pregnancy and the emotion attachment that you can have with the partner because you've had sex with the partner. So
So nine
only
and
when
ten
you
years
are
old, we can explain this in a simplistic way, in a possibly
absolutely.
with illustrations. Are there books or are all available? Because know so many parents on this live are asking me, and I know you won't have time to dialogue explain कि अगर
Yeah.
ऐसा हो तो क्या बात करें. So how do they really educate themselves on these conversations? Are there any resources?
There are resources. There are some websites that you can look into. One of them is Teen Book. One of them is, of course, the Planned Parenthood is there, and all those sites are there. Any medical sites, or when you go through some article, make sure it's not an article written by a press media. It is written by somebody where a bunch of experts are present. So that is very important, the source that it comes
Uh,
from, because
uh,
articles are like, 5 reasons why you should masturbate because it's healthy. No, dude, that's not why you masturbate. You masturbate because you're already aroused, and then there is no other going back. Otherwise, see, masturbate is healthy. I'm not denying that, but it doesn't have to become like a daily diet. So these are the reasons why
hmm.
you should not go to very random articles, but read articles written by experts,
Read
read their
articles.
books, And there are many, many books available actually. So, of course, starting with my books, I've written the 2 puberty books, which are on understanding what the bodies are. I think I might have a couple of them right here. Very quickly, just showing it to y'all. So, this is a book for girls, which is called When Girls Grow Up. It is a book which explains the first talk you can have about puberty. This is how it is inside. So it is kept that kids are going to read the book, and this is a book. These are very theoretical chapters also. So we tried of making it more child appropriate. This is for the boys when boys grow up. So these 2 books are the ones that I have written. Then there is one more book. I think it is called How I Got My Belly Button. That's the whole name, which is by Anju, which is also a very dear colleague. And I respect her as much the way I'm working. She's a lot on my, she matches with my wavelength and thoughts and everything. So that's her book. And then there is another book for parents, especially something called It's Normal. It's written by Dr. Vatsa, who is not there with us anymore. But this gives you a very clinical kind of understanding, but it gives you some understanding. And of course, then there are other books which are not very technically sound, but there are stories and there are a lot of then different subject books. So yes, you can always look for the reviews and books and read them. Take trainings, not only for sex education, but take trainings even about simple modalities like how to question your children, how do children think, some psychology articles also you should read up. You should know the development stages emotionally, mentally, physically, socially about your children. Only then you'll be able to guide them. So,
Understand.
sex education, yeah.
So, cool. Let's go to next question. My rag 514. How do I deal with my daughter who is 6? She says she has a crush on a boy, and I have seen her. She goes crazy seeing him, all nervous and behaves strange. I'm worried how to control this, how to prevent my child from getting corrupted mentally or physically at 6 about this crush.
I
Good.
can
It was a good question. Interesting
it was a good
question.
question. So no, I can only imagine this parents' concerns, because I'm sure at 6 she was not preparing for this. She's like, "Abhi to time hai. Let's first look into the 6-year-old." So one, okay, a very simple exercise, Riri. I don't know. The comments are not working right now, so we've not put it on. But just understand one thing. You will get all these examples from life. Your children are not listening to you. Your children are watching you. Children watch and they learn, right? So here, the crush of it and the girlfriend and the boyfriend, it's all coming from the media. And it's coming from older peers in the school, from the van, from the buses, from the cousins. And we also sometimes, as parents, just when you see a girl, innocent girl and a boy playing together, you'll be like, your girlfriend or what? Arey, why do you have to label them? Why are you labeling them? And it's not even in their minds. So all of this combined together, they've understood that if you like somebody, it's called having a crush or falling in love or my boyfriend or I'm going to marry them. We've heard girls saying that I'm going to marry my dad forever. So it's already there, that comes down to children. Having said that, at 6-year-old, just play along. That doesn't mean encourage her. It doesn't mean sit down and chat with her and laugh with her.
Don't make it a big deal. Don't make it a big deal.
Don't make it a big deal. It'll pass off.
Just pass. It'll pass. Yeah.
But at the same time, it is great to sit down and have a chat with the daughter of what's actually going on in her mind. Oh, he's your crush. So what do you mean by crush? How do you like him? So in the future, what do you want to do with him? That will give you an insight of what actually the child is thinking. I don't want to marry. Exactly. Yes.
So I think parents have to just, this is for everything, it's very interesting. Even when child is throwing a tantrum, having a meltdown, I always have put it in my reels that please understand the why. Please understand what's going on in the child's mind. Because then you stand a chance of training and, for only if you understand the thought can you change it. Versus if you ask them to shut up, if you suppress it, if you make a big how about it, or if you ask them to, not talk about it, that's not going to address
Yeah.
or even change anything about the child,
You know,
right? It's so important to know.
it's like giving a crocin whenever you have a headache. Not all headaches are just headaches that will go
Correct.
away from crocin. So figure out what
Absolutely.
is causing it. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Okay. So many, my God, we are having crazy kind of questions. Indrani is saying my son is 11. He's not asking me any such questions, but do you think I should initiate a conversation? You should?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The same reason our children are exposed to sexual content, and it is only our responsibility to ensure what they know is what they should know, that they know it correctly. It's not half baked knowledge given by some rumors, because I know of so many children who still are following the same rumors that were going on 30, 50 years back. You'll go blind and you'll get acne and
Oh my God.
so please, yes, please talk to your children, find out what they think and what their belief systems are, what their values are. I know of so many children who tell their parents, like, why do you wear saris and salwar kameez, wear Western clothes? So just a very small example, go and understand who they are and what they believe in, what they like, how they see life. That's where you'll be able to direct them when it is really the time to direct them. Otherwise, one fine day you
Got it.
can't sit and talk about sex. You can't do that.
Just,
They
yeah,
won't
yeah,
listen to you
yeah.
also.
Absolutely. You have to build it from the beginning,
Yeah,
that relationship.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
Deepika is asking if the friends sharing videos and jokes on sex and masturbation, how to talk to them. So Deepika, again, please ask what is the age of your child?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Niyati, a lot of people are asking about your book. Is it available on Amazon? So
Yes.
in this live, when I post the live, I will in the comments part. Will you please also share the
100%.
name of your books, because a lot of people want that. Very interesting question. This is Atul Ashutosh asking, how can a father feel comfortable discussing the sex education with the daughter? So how does
The
father talk to the daughter about this?
If you remove the sex out of the conversation, that I'm a father and she's my daughter, if you think I'm a parent who is concerned about my child, the conversation will become easy. That's the quickest I could give
Absolutely.
right now.
No, no, very, of course, very, very, very apt. One very practical question, and I'm sure you may have come across this, is suppose if I have a child and I start talking, normalizing these conversations and explain about this at age 6 and 7, to my first grader, second grader about vulva and penis, and this happens, that happens. Now my child thinks it is very normal to talk about it and starts and goes and talks about it with the friends and classmates. And the other parents are getting panicky that why is your child only talking about these things which are not supposed to be
Yeah.
spoken about? How does
Yeah.
one handle that? How does one handle that?
So imagine my children who are raised in a house where only these things are kind of discussed. So no, one, as a parent, I am very aware of where my children are when I am doing my work. Two, definitely you will see a lot of books that are right here, which I'm pulling out and showing you. But at the same time, I have taught my children that whatever you need to know, it has to come to me, because there is a lot of information available and it may not be appropriate for your age. Similarly, when I talk to them about certain things, I do tell them this information has to go from a responsible adult to a child, because you may not know the surrounding context around what you should be telling to your friend. So avoid talking about these things. And if you really want to say something to your friend, tell your friend to speak to her parents. Like, listen, there is something about this you should know. Go ask your mother. She will tell you what it is. So that is how I have given
So you have to
her.
teach your child, you have to teach your child that whatever you
Yes.
are normalizing and talking, the child doesn't necessarily have to always talk about it. But if the child wants the friend to know, then the friend should talk to their parents. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Is that what
Also,
Deepika is?
yes, yes. Also, what one more angle that we can tell our children is every house or every family has their own value systems. So, if I am okay with her wearing a crop top, not necessarily that another family is okay with their child wearing a crop top, right? So, those are the kind of examples I give her, that this is a topic which is very sensitive. It has a lot to do with mind, body, and soul. You should not be handling this topic, an adult should be. And she she understands because of everything that I tell her. So she understands the complexity of it. So then she will not, go and discuss about this. And another thing, sometimes you make it like a question. What is there to talk about vulva? So very interestingly, they do talk about farts and poops and, all of that when they are younger.
They have these phases. They
Yes,
just go on and on, joking about it, talking about it, mentioning it, doing it, and
correct.
that's all. But then it's a phase. Most kids, I think, वो एक आध 2 महीने 3 महीने चलता है, and then they're over it. Then there's the next topic
Exactly,
comes up.
exactly, exactly. So, what I'm trying to say is sometimes, even if your child said it, do not hush the child. Do not discourage her to be open and out loud to speak about it, because that is what an empowered uh, person looks like. It's okay to talk about these things. She's not going and, exhibit, she or he is not going and exhibiting themselves, which is inappropriate. She's just discussing something that she knows. So there is no hush about it. If somebody was offended, apologize. Go back to your daughter and say, don't talk to her. But there is
Got
nothing
it.
inappropriate to talk about it when it's in context. Otherwise, yes, you can teach your child the right way to be.
I know. So when I'm having this conversation with you, I still remember when I was in grade 8th and 9th, and we used to have this biology class, and we were all waiting for the chapter on reproduction, and our teacher never did it. She
No.
actually didn't cover it. She quickly came in and she was like, okay, okay, you read this on your own. And she was like so embarrassed. So, and we could see through, like, we saw that she
Yeah.
was visibly embarrassed. She just said, "Acha, isko khud pad lena. I don't want to." So, and it was a girls' school. It was a convent, and still, but times have changed. I'm so
Yeah.
amazed that we are actually having this conversation. So, Bayberry Home Decor is saying my son is 5 years old and he lies down upside down and tries to move his legs and rub his penis. What to do? So, the child is probably trying to, like you said earlier, trying to enjoy
Yes.
the pleasure that he's getting. So, what does she need to do in such situations? How can she handle that?
Nothing. Nothing. At
Nothing.
5, don't do anything. Just let it be. What you can do maximum is ask your child to sit up straight and watch television. So there is no reason to explain to them what they are doing. Their penis is getting rubbed or stimulated. Don't
कुछ
put
नहीं.
them there. They don't know about all these things. Just ask him to sit straight and watch television. See if he goes back again and again. Then yes, you may worry about it. But if he's okay sitting and then watching, then just let it pass. Don't do
तो जस्ट
anything.
ध्यान थोड़ा कहीं और ले लो, उसका बड़ा विषय मत बनाओ, right?
हाँ
Okay.
जी, हाँ जी.
Shilpa Anish is saying what to answer to my 6-year-old when he says he wants to marry his sister.
6-year-old, say yes, you can decide that when you become 26 and just smile and go.
Oh,
Again,
so it is okay to say that, even if he says he wants to marry his sister. So at that age, you don't
we,
say
you
that
know,
you can't marry your sister and all that. Oh,
no, no.
interesting.
See, the more you, so there are cultures who do get their cousins married, like cousins are getting married in
Yeah,
so many of our
yeah, yeah,
cultures.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
One, so is this sister the real sibling? But again, I just want to bring back the attention to how cute it looks when a daughter says, I want to marry my dad. We never correct that. We call it cute. So I think these are just phases showing the what's the
Innocence,
word? Why?
probably.
No, just the love that they have for that person. So because
And they don't know the difference between
they
this
don't know the
love and
difference.
marrying and sex.
No.
Yeah, I get that.
So if my dad loves my mom and they are getting married, if my mama loved another person and they got married, if my bua loved somebody and they got married, I love my sister. So I'm going to get married to my sister. It could be as simple as that. So figure out, there is no other angle to it, but usually there isn't. So on the public platform, I will go with what is the most generic thing that we see and we understand. Let it pass by. Just smile
But I
and
would
don't
also
do
like to tell
anything.
people, that when they ask questions on parenting and child-specific questions, I would also like to really point out, and this applies to even my live conversation and reels, that for every child is unique and there may be layers
Yeah.
and history behind every question and problem. So, we can give generic answers, but फिर आप सोचोगे कि इसका कुछ और भी हो सकता है, इसके पीछे कुछ और, तो वो तो हम अगर 1 घंटा कंसल्टेशन किया तब हमें पता चलेगा कि क्या जवाब देना है,
Yes.
बिकॉज जेनेरिक
Yes.
प्लेटफॉर्म पे स्पेसिफिक आंसर्स हम नहीं दे सकते क्योंकि
We
दूसरे
can't.
10 बच्चों के लिए कुछ और अप्लाई हो सकता है. सो इट इज इम्पॉसिबल.
Correct.
सो whenever we are even discussing these things, I would like parents to know that these are generic guidelines that we are talking about. Does not mean it has to be taken like it is carved in stone, because for every child this can
It's
change,
different.
right? So one question,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Neha Bhatia is saying, my son is 9 years old, he saw pornography and someday he was trying to touch a 5-year-old girl. How can we deal with this situation? This is a little bit serious matter here because somebody else is involved.
Yes.
So,
But this is happening worldwide. What I want to tell you is your child is just modeling what they saw. So if he has seen pornography, now he knows there is something like this that you do. And not only they have seen the action, they have seen the reaction of the other person who's being touched, which could be moaning, which could be so many different things. Who knows what your child has actually seen? And just to try that out is what is happening here. And see, children may not be as street smart as this kind of looks like, but subconsciously also, their mind is protecting them. So they will not, most of them will not go and touch an elder person. They will touch a younger person who probably they can make, they can tell them, keep quiet about it. Don't tell this to anybody. So this is what does happen. It is very important to intervene right now and to teach your child that it is not okay to touch anybody inappropriately. And if you have a question or if you want to know what it was or how it feels, talk to me. Leave
yeah,
the
I
conversation
think
open.
Yeah, I think there are so many endless questions coming here. I think we would either have to do another live, or we'll have to do probably arrange a workshop or just a talk, for you to do this in a more formal way, because we have just covered kids, small kids. In fact, there are many questions about teenagers also, on how to handle teens and those kind of things. Somebody's asked how to educate 24-year-old daughter about what happens at first night. I want to tell the mother, I'm sure if a 24-year-old daughter, she must have self-educated enough by now. You don't need to do anything. But anyway, so this is
No, but I
more of
think
the
it's a
civil.
very, yeah, no, but I think
Yeah,
it's a
so
very interesting question.
it is,
No,
it is.
so
But I
just
think,
just two
yeah,
quick
just
points
answer
since you
it.
said it,
Go
okay?
ahead.
One,
Yeah.
start talking about generic stuff. How is her love life going? Is she comfortable or not? Have generic questions and then slowly say that, listen, it's nearing and I need to speak to you about this. But again, first go educate yourself and then sit down and have a very casual talk with her. It absolutely okay. Even if she knows,
Yeah.
she'll appreciate that her mother came forward to teach her something. So maybe in the future, it'll be easier for you both to have a conversation. So please go ahead.
Right, right. And somebody is asking, this is probably the third time I'm reading this question, how to overcome sexual block in young women. I would also say something, and of course, Niyatii can answer that, that sexual block in young women can come due to a variety of reasons. It could come because of a sexual trauma from childhood. If she was either sexually molested, inappropriately touched, or abused, then a sexual block can come. Or it can also happen because of the fear that was induced in her by the parents or environment. Or sexual block I have also seen coming when children have accidentally witnessed their parents getting intimate and
Yes.
sometimes heard the noises, or supposedly they think the mom is in pain or dad is in pain, so they've associated it with pain. So these are some of the
Yes.
reasons why as adults they can be sexually blocked, or they've seen some stuff. I knew one client who was blocked because she heard her older sister talking about how painful sexual intercourse is. And I
Yes.
also know somebody
Yes.
was blocked sexually because for her pregnancy, getting pregnant and delivering a baby was a big fear. So the whole thing was,
Yes.
if I have intercourse, I will get pregnant and have to have a baby. So I don't want to. So there could be, I would
Yes.
say, first step is to understand what is the reason behind that block. And that comes if you have a good long conversation. And then to understand based on the reason on how you can address it. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just one thing. A casual conversation will probably give you one or two layers of what it could be. But having a therapy at a time like this is the most important thing to be, because only therapists kind of have the skills to go deeper into understanding where it has rooted from, what is the real cause
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
And usually it goes down to childhood. So just look for a therapist who you trust, and if you are following the two of us, you already know who we are. But even if not, go look for somebody who you trust, who you can place your children or yourself into good hands, and go
And
be honest.
I don't think
No.
medications will help something like this, huh? That is again something I'm saying. I have nothing against psychiatric medications, but I don't think
Yeah.
medications can remove a blockage that you may have
Yeah.
for sex. Yeah, I mean, sometimes desensitization and all of that, there are sex educators, sex
Sometimes it is
counselors, and all of that,
as
but
some
sometimes,
No, sometimes it is as simple as she was not lubricated and she felt pain. So just go lubricate yourself. So doctors do come in, with their own
yeah,
expertise
yeah,
in it.
gynacs can also
But
help, gynecologists can
absolutely,
also help.
absolutely, absolutely. But I think
Yeah.
if your therapist knows how to counsel and has had experience, I think you should definitely go and seek some sessions. And please don't look only for one session. एक session में हो जाएगा, नहीं होता
कुछ
है,
नहीं
नहीं
होता है,
होता
कुछ
है.
नहीं होता है, कुछ
And
नहीं
we
होता
both
है.
are saying this very publicly today. Please understand, it's a very deep work, which has been layered for years and years
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And it takes time for somebody to, one, form the trust, to secondly start understanding not only what you're saying, how you're saying it, your behavior, your reactions, your subconscious saying that you have not planned to say. There's a lot that we observe, and only
There's
after
a lot.
that we
In
come
fact, I would
to.
also, yeah, go on, sorry.
No, no, no. So only after that we come to an understanding, after like a couple of sessions, we come to an understanding what really is what you need, and give us that time. Because hospital में
Yeah.
भी जाते हो तो 2 दिन investigation लगता ही है. So give us that time.
No, and also I'll tell you, even in my therapy clients, sometimes after we have done 4, 5 sessions on other safer issues like anger, relationships, in the sixth session they open up about the
Yes.
sexual, exploits they had as a little girl and how they were caught and how shameful it was. So some of these things, are very difficult for even adult clients who trust us so much to even come out with it up front. So sometimes it's a journey. Clients,
Yeah.
like you rightly said, take a few hours of time with you before their subconscious mind even allows them to start talking of some of these,
Yeah. Deeper
issues that
issues.
have a deep
Yeah.
shame and guilt associated
Yeah.
with it. If they were not
Yeah.
made to feel ashamed or guilty, maybe they would not be so blocked. But in our society, even things that 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds do out of curiosity and fun are somehow met with such a strong reaction from the parents that it
Yes.
scars them for life. It shuts them down
Yeah.
completely from, like you said, even masturbation or getting sexually intimate with somebody just because something happened when they were 5 and 6
Yeah.
and that the parents just
Yes.
overreacted. So I've had
Yes.
such cases in therapy, and it takes a long time. It's not easy.
It
So
takes.
one last question,
Absolutely.
we are running out of time. How can I deal, Meenu Khatkar is saying, how can I deal with a situation when your 6 or 7-year-old sees you in an intimate situation? I presume seeing the parents having sex accidentally. क्या करें?
Yeah.
बहुत
So,
ही इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है क्योंकि जैसे मैंने कहा मेरे थेरेपी में I have dealt with not one, at least 2 dozen clients who have come to me narrating a childhood trauma where they have repeatedly seen this happening. And it has either got them angry towards a father, or hatred towards a father, mother, or put off, or with sexual intimacy, or fear about sex. It causes a lot of
yeah.
nonsense. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, please,
Yeah.
what's your point of
Uh,
view?
so there are two things that I would like to say. One, that you know that your child has seen it. So there's a line of action there. And there are times when you don't even know that your child has seen it. So for that, only prevention can be your answer. So a lot of parents say that my child does not sleep anywhere else. They sleep with us. And a lot of places, the homes are small and you don't have a separate room. But I will say that this is the worst thing that you can do to your children, is to say that I don't have any other place, so we are under the blanket. Your children sometimes can just know what is happening under the blanket, and not every time the blanket is there. And Riri can vouch for that, for all the scenes that she must have relived with those patients. So that is something that you need to understand. Do not share the room. Plan 2 days, ask your child to sleep, do it in the daytime, go to a friend's place, book another place, do whatever you need to do. But would you say that my parents were sleeping with us in a big hall, we were all outside and we had sex even though parents were in the room? You would not dare to do that. then why children? So please go look for some other place.
But what
Look
if
for
it
another
happens
day.
already? मतलब अगर accidentally हो गया तो
Coming,
कैसे इसको हम fire fighting कैसे करें? हाँ.
coming.
Accidentally हो
So
जाता
one,
है. I'll tell you two things
correct.
happen. Either the kids pretend they are asleep and they are very curious, so
Yeah.
they are watching,
Yes.
or
Yes.
sometimes the kids are, it's just
They just
accidental.
wake up.
It just, yeah, it's accidental. And then parents are really embarrassed, like they don't know
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
deal
yeah.
with it. So
So
what do you
I
say?
think, so one, I'm hesitating because I have to say if it happens, even though that means you are still going to be in the room with your children. One thing is, if you see that your child is watching it, don't react in a shocked manner, because your reaction stays with them. The first thing, it puts a
Yes.
stamp, like what
Implicit
happened?
memory.
Oh,
Yes.
immediately
Absolutely.
they will,
Yes. Absolutely.
it's there now, it's stamped in their mind, that okay, this was not okay what they were doing. So one, somewhere in your mind, be ready that this might happen. So we are going to be cool about it. We will go dress up, we will sit down with the child and tell them, uh, now there is a bigger explanation to that, so you can just kind of put it in a nutshell that we were physically intimately close, and this is one of the ways that a husband and a wife share their physical energy.
That
these are
adults,
these
that
are
adults
adult
do
words.
this. Uh-huh.
Adults do this, so you have to kind of wrap it in a very sweet manner to say that this was not dirty. This is what you do when you decide to
Grow
spend your
up.
life with somebody. You will also do this after you're 18 years of age, but right now I just need you to understand this was a private moment.
Mistake.
Usually we do not do this in front of people. It is a very private thing that a couple does. Now that you've seen it, I need you to know that this is one of the beautiful things that me and your dad share, or me and your mom share. And if you have questions, just come and ask us. It's okay. So when you put it in a very beautiful format, one, your child has become sex positive. There are no dirty
Yes.
blockages in their mind. They've heard words like beautiful, love, share, energy, and these are the kind of words they will remember and associate it with what they've seen, rather than the shocking, go to sleep, go to sleep. Nothing was happening.
They
Don't
know
do that.
everything. They know the parent is embarrassed. They know the parent is guilty. They know the parent is shocked.
Yes,
They know the parent is shamed. They know that the parent has done something really terrible. That's what your expressions say. And that
yes,
is what
yes,
implicitly is stuck as an image. I know
yes,
clients vividly recalling, even at the age of 35, I recall the face that my mom had made when I saw
yes.
that, happening.
I'm
And it's
getting
not going out of
goosebumps
my
while you're
mind.
talking to me, because we know what these things can, translate
Yeah.
into. So
And
I think,
I'll tell you something. I had posted a couple of reels on Facebook, and I got so badly trolled for it from all these cultural ambassadors. Like, when I said that, you should not have children sleeping in the same bed as you after a certain age. And, it's not good for even 15-year-olds to cling and hug their moms in sleep, because then accidentally things happen in sleep. And people are like, oh, you Western guys, and, you bloody, they said things like you're these, right, what is it, leftist liberal dose, you're giving these Western concepts. India mein to culture hai maa baap ko chipak ke sona. I've clung to my mom and slept in my 20s and nothing has happened. But I must tell you that, I deal with people who have been victims of this, where, accidentally things happen. So somebody has asked, the last question for today is that, from what age should children start sleeping separately? Because what is the age when, from where they, because I've seen again from my side also, where clients say that, oh, I was sleeping with my mom, and then, dad accidentally touched me, and then this happened and that happened, or cousin accidentally touched me, or, something was happening between mom and dad because I sleep with them. So what is the age? I mean, should they sleep, should they not sleep, till what age can they sleep, when should they start being encouraged to sleep separately?
for me, Riri, this is not about the age, it is about the situation. So, are you asking your child to leave your room where they feel extremely safe because you want to have sex? Then you go have sex in that
No,
room where your
generically.
child was
No,
going
no,
to sex.
generically.
I'm coming to
Yeah,
that. I'm coming
generically.
to that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm coming to that. Then the second thing, it could be, I want to make my child independent. If
Hmm.
your child is being rooted from a space of safety or feeling secure, to saying that this is not your place anymore, go be alone, it could translate into insecurities, fears, and all of
Trauma.
those
Yes,
things, traumas.
absolutely. Yes.
So it is very important. What are you taking your child away from that room for? Because that is what is going to verbally and non-verbally reach the child. So when I told my son that, would you want to see how it feels like to be on your own, sleeping in another room? And he goes like, yeah. So my plan was December, he turned 5. January was the first month. I will make him sleep only one night in the month. So I'm going to take 1 year to wean him off. Then the second month, I will say, try for 2 nights and see how it feels. Then 3, then 4, and then go on. The first night he slept, he's like, you know what? I love the feeling of being in my own room and sleeping on my own. He never came back to the room. But
Good for you. Yeah, that's nice.
absolutely. But my daughter, who's 11 now, she took some time. She would just come back every
Yeah.
night. But my children always knew that our doors were open. We never lock our
Yeah.
doors. We only lock when we are in action. Otherwise, it's open. So that little time we've kind of understood, where the child is sleeping, and then we have our own time. Then the doors open back. So the children know that whenever I
Yeah.
want to reach out, the doors are there. The doors are open for us. So she would come back again and again. And we kind of knew that, okay, 1.5 hours we have because she just slept. So we would utilize that time to be together and spend time. So
Or
these are the kind
sometimes
of
they're also
things.
okay to be in the same room but in a separate, mattress. Like
Bed,
our kids, one of them used to
absolutely.
sleep on a separate jameen pe gadda dal ke. So again,
Absolutely.
same experience I have where my daughter, I remember I was not aware of these things, so I literally traumatized her to sleep alone because I was of this belief कि बच्चे को अलग सोना चाहिए. She would howl and cry, and like you rightly said, I
Yeah.
made that mistake of making her feel extremely fearful, insecure, and I just punished her and pushed her and made her sleep into another room on her own when she was, I think, 11, 12. It was very traumatizing for her. With my son, thankfully, I didn't repeat it. So I mean, after that, I
Yeah.
became a therapist
Yeah.
and I learned all this. So with him, again, like you said, that one day you sleep, maybe this is your room. He would dhap, dhap, dhap. I remember in the middle of the night, every day we would hear this running footsteps, and he would come running to our room at night. Like you said, दरवाजे खुले होते थे. We almost expected कि हर रात को धप 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 करके आंखें भी बंद होंगी. He will just run to our room and sleep with us. And then at
Yeah.
some point that dhap dhap stopped, and at some
It
point he
does.
just
It
very
does. See,
gently. And now we
children
have to
are
drive
also,
them and say, "Aa jao." Now they don't want to come. Now to say, "Get out
we
of your rooms."
still
So that's
we
also
still
that's also a
we
phase.
still we still have nights which is our family nights. So every Friday my
How
daughter's kind
nice.
of put it out like I'm going to be in the room. So imagine this, okay, especially with the parents who have only one child. How is the child going to feel that you've become a team as a mother and father together? Y'all get to spend time together. Y'all are secure sleeping in another room. I have to be separate out of that, so they feel being
They feel a bit
detached, being
out of it.
snatched
So
away.
it's good
And
to
I have to sleep alone. Why should that be the case? So I think sleeping me na, I love the community sleeping that we used to have in our olden jamana, and there used to be joint families, so children never felt that. Today they are feeling because they're alone. So either
Right,
have joint
agree.
families or let them sleep with you, have another room for your own time. So rather than building children room with bed and all, have it something where you can spend time and let the children feel secure, because a lot of confidence, esteem, worth that we all talk
Comes from
about
there.
comes from here. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost 10, and I think our conversations, अगर हम चला ले तो और 2 घंटा चलेंगे, but we have to close the
Chalega.
live. But I'm so grateful to you, Niyati. I mean, I think this was so much needed by my followers, because this is one area where I've really not been able to help, my followers or my clients, simply because this is not my expertise. So I'm so happy to have done this. Lot of people are requesting for another live sometime on specifically teenagers and sex education for teenagers. I think whenever
Absolutely.
in another 2, 3 months, whenever you have the time and availability, and I do, we will definitely do that live. I would like to tell my followers that your request has been taken note of, but at the same time, I will be making Niyati as a collaborator when I share this. So this recording is going to be available on my wall and on her wall as well. So if you have questions, please write to her directly. I'm very happy if, she can be of help to you. As you all know, I am very, very open and giving about everything I know. So there's nothing that I hold back, and I'm sure Niyatii also doesn't do that. So
Absolutely.
we are very happy to share everything we know and have learned about this. So with that, I think I'm going to end. I'm sorry, there are some another 20, 30 questions. I'm sorry I've not been able to answer all because we cannot extend this beyond a point. But Catch Girl says excellent info, thanks and best wishes. Somebody saying this was a very, very good live, very useful. People are saying
I'm
bravo,
glad.
worth it, loved the live thoroughly. Thank you, lovely session. So Niyatii, thank you so much. And I hope we can keep doing this because ultimately I think both of us, more than anything else, for me at least, I can definitely say, and I think it would be the same for you, is it's about awareness. It's about building a community of people
Absolutely.
and building a world
Absolutely.
where kids are safe, where kids are well taken care of, where there are no childhood traumas, so that therapists like me don't have to keep working overtime for the next 30 years, where we create an awareness and environment के जितने भी बच्चे या जितने भी छोटे बच्चे अच्छे से बड़े हुए, अच्छे से पले बड़े, so that will be a blessing. That is a job
No,
well done for us, right?
definitely,
What
definitely,
would you like to say
definitely.
to my followers, Niyati?
So, one, thank you so much for giving me this platform and helping me to reach out to so many of you. Really, a big thank you for that. I am somebody who believes in living with freedom. I am somebody who believes in living the way I would want to live, and I do practice it to a lot extent. I am a parent. For me, children come first. So I'm going to be that for whoever approaches for their children. So you will find a mother first and then an educator or an expert on this. So please feel free to reach out. The only thing that I would like to tell you is sex education has nothing to do with being dirty, bad, or shameful. It's only to understand your sexual side of being a human being and nothing else. So please educate yourself because the consequences can be really, really bad. Only investing a few hours from your life, you can help yourself, your own life, your partner's life, and your children's life. So it's like a family, session more than just learning about sex, which is a mere 2 minute act. So there's a lot to learn about sex education. Please be open to the topic. Come with an understanding that I will take what I need today and rest of it can come whenever it wants to come. So that is what you will get like any other topic. So please be open to this topic and reach out. Just reach out whenever you need to. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Niyati. I think I can pinch you. If you were live here, like in person, I would have pinched you on so many same pinches that I can give you, on so many things that
I know.
guide, I think, the same approach, the same philosophy, the same way to, to handle these things. And I think a lot of common points as well, because you work at, this whole area which I work on with adults, but again, which comes from childhood. So for me, I
Yeah.
think there is a lot of overlaps in our work and even in our philosophy for that matter. So it's wonderful to have discovered this part of, because we meet socially. This one area
We
we've never
don't
talked
talk.
about. So I'm so happy, and it's very heartwarming for me also to really have this conversation with you. I loved it,
Same
and I'm
here.
going to be a little greedy. So I think hopefully in the next few months we should be able to do maybe one or two more lives on this, and specifically with specific focus on teenagers and maybe young adults. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Good
Looking
night.
forward.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.